The overconfident invaders. The Accelarians were feared across the galaxy. They were known as conquerors, destroyers, and rulers. Their empire had grown vast, swallowing weaker civilizations without mercy. No one dared to challenge them. Their technology was superior, their weapons unmatched, and their soldiers ruthless. They believed they were invincible. Their leader, Supreme Commander Zolrak, stood tall in the Grand Command Center of the flagship Dominator. He looked out at the stars, his 4 eyes gleaming with pride. Beside him, his generals reported the latest victory. Another planet had fallen to their might. Zolrak laughed, his deep voice echoing through the chamber. Pathetic creatures, he sneered. They never even put up a fight. The other Xalarians joined in his laughter. To them, conquest was nothing more than a game, and they were the champions. They had faced no real threats, no worthy opponents. It was only natural that they would continue their expansion. That's when the news came. A scout ship had discovered a new planet on the edge of the galaxy. Its inhabitants called it Earth. The initial scans showed primitive technology, basic weapons, and no space defenses worth mentioning. It seemed like an easy target. General Varrock, one of Zolrak's most trusted officers, grinned. Humans, they call themselves, he reported. They're weak, divided, and unprepared. Conquering them will be child's play. Zolrak's eyes gleamed with excitement. A new world to conquer, more resources to exploit, and more slaves to add to his empire. He could already imagine the humans bowing before him, begging for mercy. Prepare the invasion fleet, he commanded. We shall crush them before they even realize what's happening. The Talarians were confident, too confident. They believed they knew everything about fear because they had spread it across the galaxy. They had no idea that they were about to learn a new definition of fear, one that only humans could teach. The invasion fleet launched, a terrifying armada of massive warships, each armed with the most advanced weapons in the galaxy. Their engines roared as they sped through space, closing in on Earth. The Accelarians expected an easy victory, just like all the others before. Inside the command center, Zolrak watched the live feed from the frontline scouts. Earth looked peaceful, unaware of the doom approaching. Look at them, he mocked. They don't even know we're coming. This will be over in no time. His generals nodded in agreement. In their arrogance, they didn't bother to strategize. They saw no need for caution or preparation. They were conquerors, and humans were nothing more than insects beneath their feet. But even as they laughed, the humans were not as ignorant as they believed. Earth had already detected the incoming fleet. In secret command centers across the planet, leaders were meeting, preparing for the worst. They were outmatched in technology, but they were not without hope. They were humans, resourceful, determined, and ready to fight for their survival. Yet, the Xalarians had no idea of this. They continued their approach, completely unaware that they were underestimating their enemy. To them, Earth was just another conquest, another weak species to dominate. Zolrak's confidence was unshakable. This will be the easiest victory yet, he boasted. We'll be back home celebrating by tomorrow. His generals agreed, already discussing the spoils they would take from Earth. They saw the humans as weak, foolish, and powerless, but they were about to face a force they could never have predicted. For all their advanced technology, for all their power, the Xalarians lacked one crucial thing: understanding. They didn't understand the human spirit, the will to fight even when all hope seemed lost. They didn't understand that fear was not just about power, but about courage in the face of danger. And soon, they would learn that humans were masters of that courage. The Xalarians believed they knew fear, but they had never faced humanity's wrath. Their overconfidence would be their downfall. As the fleet drew closer to Earth, the Xalarians laughed and celebrated their easy victory in advance. They didn't realize that they were walking into the greatest battle of their lives, a battle that would teach them the true meaning of fear. The humans were waiting, and they were ready to fight back. On Earth, Chaos erupted as news of the approaching alien fleet spread. People watched in shock and fear as images of the massive warships filled their screens. The Excelarians had not bothered to hide their presence. They wanted Earth to see its doom coming. Panic swept through cities, and fear gripped every heart. But amid the chaos, there was also determination. Humanity had faced countless challenges before: wars, disasters, and even the darkness of space. They had always fought back, no matter how impossible the odds seemed. This time would be no different. In underground bunkers and secret military bases, Earth's leaders gathered. Representatives from every nation sat around the massive holographic table, watching the live feed of the alien fleet advancing closer. Their faces were grim, but their eyes burned with resolve. General Marcus Steele stood up, his voice firm and commanding. "We cannot run. We cannot hide. Our only option is to fight." His words echoed in the room, bringing a heavy silence. He continued, "They think we are weak. They think we will surrender. Let's show them how wrong they are." Around the table, heads nodded. Leaders who once disagreed on everything now stood united. They knew the price of failure: extinction. This was no longer about politics or borders. It was about survival. "What do we have?" asked President Ilara, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. Commander Iko, head of Earth's Space Defense Force, activated the holographic display. Images of Earth's hidden defenses appeared: orbital cannons, stealth fighters, and experimental energy shields. "It's not enough to match their technology," she admitted, "but we have the advantage of surprise. They think we are helpless." Marcus's eyes narrowed. "Then we use that against them. They expect an easy fight. Let's give them the hardest battle they've ever faced." Meanwhile, across Earth, factories roared to life. Engineers and scientists worked day and night, upgrading weapons and preparing defenses. Soldiers were mobilized, and pilots trained in secret simulators. Even civilians volunteered, ready to defend their home. News stations broadcast messages of courage and hope, urging people to stay strong. Humanity's spirit refused to break. They were terrified, but they were also determined. They would not bow to invaders. But it wasn't just technology and weapons that Earth was preparing. It was something deeper, something the Excelarians could never understand. It was humanity's fierce will to survive, their refusal to surrender no matter the cost. In a remote base, hidden deep beneath the mountains, a team of scientists worked on Earth's last resort, Project Defiance. Led by Dr. Leora Hayes, the brightest mind on the planet, they were developing a weapon unlike any other. It was risky, untested, and could change the course of the war. "We don't have time," Leora said, her voice urgent, as she examined the holographic blueprint. "But if this works, it could destroy their warships in one strike." Her team looked exhausted but determined. They knew what was at stake. Failure was not an option. They continued to work, fueled by hope and fear. They were Earth's last line of defense. Meanwhile, the Excelarians grew closer, unaware of the resistance waiting for them. They saw Earth as weak, but they didn't see the unity forming among its people. They didn't see the courage growing in human hearts. On the streets, people gathered, holding hands and praying. Others prepared to fight, making homemade weapons and joining local defense groups. They were afraid, but they would not go down without a fight. The Excelarians had made one fatal mistake. They underestimated humanity. They saw only the surface, never realizing the strength hidden beneath. They saw fear but missed the courage that came with it. As the alien fleet entered the solar system, Earth stood ready. The Excelarians thought they were the masters of fear, but they had never faced humanity's resolve. They were about to learn that true fear was not in power or weapons. It was in fighting an enemy who refused to give up. The battle was coming, and Earth was ready to teach the invaders what it meant to face a species that never surrendered. The Excelarian fleet entered Earth's orbit, their massive warships casting shadows over the planet below. Their commander, High Warlord Sarvox, stood on the bridge of his flagship, his four crimson eyes gleaming with arrogance. He watched Earth spin beneath him, tiny and vulnerable. To him, it looked like a fragile blue gem waiting to be crushed. His lieutenant approached, bowing respectfully. High Warlord, our scans show minimal defenses. Their technology is primitive. Victory will be swift. Sarvox let out a low, rumbling laugh. Pathetic creatures. They dare to exist in our galaxy. Today, we will remind them of their place. He raised his clawed hand, pointing at Earth. Begin the bombardment. Show them the power of the Xalarian Empire. Across the fleet, energy cannons hummed to life. The warships aimed their weapons at Earth's major cities, ready to rain destruction. But just as the first blasts fired, something unexpected happened. Earth's orbital cannons, hidden within its moon's shadow, sprang to life. Beams of concentrated energy shot out, targeting the Xalarian warships with precision. Explosions erupted as two enemy ships were hit, their shields shattering under the sudden assault. Sarvox's eyes widened in shock. Impossible. They have defenses. He turned to his lieutenant. How did we not detect this? Our scanners were jammed. High Warlord. The lieutenant stammered, panic in his voice. They tricked us. Sarvox growled, his fury rising. Clever vermin. They dare fight back. Destroy those cannons. Show them no mercy. The Xalarian fleet retaliated, firing at Earth's hidden defenses. But Earth's commanders were ready. General Marcus Steele watched the battle unfold from his command center, his face calm but his eyes blazing with determination. They took the bait, he said, a slight smile forming. Activate the stealth fighters. Target their flanks. From behind the moon, squadrons of Earth's stealth fighters emerged, their cloaking technology rendering them almost invisible. They moved swiftly, dodging enemy fire with unmatched agility. Guided by skilled pilots, they launched missiles at the Xalarian warships, striking their engines and weapon systems. Explosions rippled through the alien fleet as more ships were damaged. The Xalarians were stunned. They had expected an easy victory, but Earth was fighting back with unexpected strength and strategy. Sarvox's rage grew. He slammed his fist against his command chair. These humans are more cunning than I thought. No matter. I will crush their spirit. He turned to his crew. Deploy the dreadnoughts. Annihilate their defenses. From the heart of the Xalarian fleet, massive dreadnoughts emerged. These warships were colossal, armed with devastating firepower capable of wiping out entire cities. Their cannons charged, glowing with deadly energy. On Earth, alarms blared as the dreadnoughts prepared to fire. Commander Aiko's face went pale as she saw the power of the incoming attack. General, their dreadnoughts are targeting our orbital cannons. We'll lose our defenses. Marcus clenched his jaw. Not yet. We won't. Order the energy shields to full power. Brace for impact. High above Earth, the experimental energy shields activated, forming a shimmering barrier around the planet. The Xalarian dreadnoughts fired, their beams of destruction slamming into the shields. The energy rippled, struggling to hold, but the shields held firm. Sarvox's eyes narrowed in disbelief. They blocked our strongest attack. How is this possible? His lieutenant's voice shook with fear. Their technology. It's more advanced than we thought. They were hiding their true strength. Sarvox's anger turned to unease. He realized he had underestimated these humans. They were more than primitive creatures. They were fighters, survivors. They were dangerous. On Earth, cheers erupted as the shields held. Civilians watched the sky, seeing the enemy's attacks failing to break through. Hope ignited in their hearts. Maybe, just maybe, they could survive this. But Marcus knew the battle was far from over. The Xalarians were powerful and relentless. Earth had defended the first strike, but the invaders would not stop. They would come again, stronger and more vicious. He turned to his officers, his face stern. Prepare the second wave. We're not just defending Earth. We're going to push them back. The fight had only just begun, and Earth was ready to show the invaders the true meaning of fear. The Accelarians thought they were superior, but they were about to learn a harsh lesson. Humanity did not surrender. They fought until the end. The battle for Earth was far from over, and the galaxy was about to witness the courage and fury of the human spirit. Sarvox paced the bridge of his flagship, his claws clicking against the metal floor. The battle was not going as planned. Earth's defenses were stronger than he had imagined, and their cunning tactics were infuriating. He slammed his fist against the control panel, his crimson eyes blazing with anger. How dare they resist us? He snarled. These humans are supposed to be primitive, weak. His lieutenant approached cautiously, his posture trembling with fear. High Warlord, their technology is advanced. They must have been hiding it for centuries. Our dreadnoughts can't break through their shields. Sarvox's fury grew, but behind his anger, a shadow of doubt crept in. How had the humans kept such power hidden? How had they masked their strength from the eyes of the galaxy? They are more dangerous than we thought, Sarvox admitted, his voice low and filled with menace. But they will not stop us. Prepare the planet buster cannons. We will shatter their shields and burn their world. As his crew moved to carry out his orders, Sarvox's confidence returned. His empire was vast, his fleet unmatched. No species had ever defied him and survived. These humans would be no different. But on Earth, General Marcus Steele watched the enemy's movements with sharp eyes. He stood before a massive holographic map of the battle, his arms crossed as he analyzed every detail. He could feel the weight of his responsibility, but he also felt something else. Hope. They're charging their planet buster cannons, Commander Aiko warned, her face tense. If those hit us, the shields won't hold. Marcus's jaw tightened. They're getting desperate. They didn't expect us to fight back like this. He turned to his communications officer. Are the Valkyries ready? Standing by, sir, the officer confirmed. Awaiting your command. A cold, determined smile crossed Marcus's face. Then it's time to show them what humanity is truly capable of. From hidden bases on Earth's moon, squadrons of sleek, silver ships launched into space. These were Earth's Valkyries, experimental fighters equipped with the most advanced technology humanity had ever created. Fast, agile, and nearly invisible to enemy sensors, they were the secret weapon Earth had kept hidden for this exact moment. The Valkyries soared through space, their cloaking devices shimmering as they weaved between enemy ships. The Accelarian sensors couldn't detect them, and by the time they saw the glint of silver, it was already too late. The Valkyries unleashed a storm of plasma missiles, striking the Accelarian dreadnoughts with precision. Explosions erupted as engines were destroyed, and shields collapsed under the sudden onslaught. Sarvox's flagship shook violently as one of the Valkyries fired at its main thrusters. He stumbled, barely catching himself on the railing. What is happening? Where did those ships come from? His lieutenant's voice was filled with panic. High Warlord, our sensors can't lock onto them. They're moving too fast. Sarvox's eyes widened as he watched his dreadnoughts fall, one by one. The humans were not just defending, they were winning. How can this be? Sarvox growled, his voice trembling with rage. They were supposed to be weak. They were never weak, a voice said from behind him. Sarvox spun around to see a hologram of General Marcus Steele, his face calm and resolute. We've survived the harshest environments, Marcus continued. We've fought wars amongst ourselves for centuries. We learned to adapt, to evolve, to fight harder than any other species. You thought you were superior, but you don't understand what it means to be human. Sarvox's eyes blazed with fury. Arrogant creature, you dare challenge me. Marcus's gaze was cold. You came to our home, thinking you could conquer us. You thought we would bow to your empire, but you made one fatal mistake. Sarvox's fists clenched. And what is that? You thought fear would break us, Marcus said, his voice steady. "But humans don't fear the darkness. We conquer it." With that, the hologram vanished, leaving Sarvox alone on his bridge as his fleet continued to fall apart. The Valkyries moved with deadly grace, tearing through his ships with unmatched speed. For the first time, Sarvox felt a chill run down his spine. He understood now. The humans had been preparing for this. They had known the day would come when an enemy would try to crush them, and they had made sure they were ready. His empire's arrogance had blinded them. They had underestimated humanity, and now they were paying the price. Sarvox's hands trembled as he watched his once mighty fleet burn. He had never known fear before, but now it was tightening around his heart like a cold, merciless grip. And he realized, far too late, that the humans weren't the ones who should have been afraid. It was him. Sarvox stood frozen on his flagship's bridge, watching in horror as his once invincible fleet crumbled before his eyes. The Valkyries danced through the battlefield like shadows, striking with unmatched precision before vanishing into the void. Every tactic he tried, every formation he ordered, failed to catch them. How are they doing this?" he muttered, his voice trembling. His pride, his power, his very empire was slipping through his fingers. His lieutenant's face was pale, his eyes wide with panic. "High Warlord, our weapons can't lock onto them. Their ships are too fast, too advanced." Sarvox's mind raced. This was impossible. They were the Xalarian Empire, conquerors of countless worlds. They were feared across the galaxy. No one had ever stood against them and survived. No one, until now. He slammed his fist on the control panel, his claws leaving deep scratches on the metal. "I refuse to be defeated by these primitive creatures." He turned to his tactical officer. "Deploy the shockwave cannons. If they won't stand still, we'll destroy everything in their path." The tactical officer hesitated. "But, High Warlord, those weapons will destroy our own ships too." Sarvox's eyes blazed with fury. "I don't care. Fire them. Annihilate everything." The order was given, and the colossal shockwave cannons began to charge. Energy crackled along their massive barrels as they aimed at the battlefield. With a deafening roar, they fired, unleashing waves of destructive energy that tore through space itself. Ships, both Solarian and human, were caught in the blast. Explosions erupted everywhere, creating a sea of fire and debris. Sarvox watched with cold satisfaction, believing he had finally crushed the humans' advantage. But the Valkyries were not so easily defeated. Their pilots moved with unmatched skill, weaving through the shockwaves with impossible agility. They danced through the chaos, avoiding the destruction with ease. On Earth's command ship, General Marcus Steele watched the enemy's desperate attack. His face was calm, his eyes sharp. He saw through Sarvox's rage and panic, recognizing it as the first sign of defeat. "They're firing blindly," Marcus observed. "They've lost control of the battle." Commander Eiko nodded. "Their own ships are being destroyed. They're in complete disarray." Marcus knew this was the moment to strike. All Valkyries, begin Phase 2. It's time to end this. The Valkyries responded instantly. They shifted formations, moving in coordinated patterns as they targeted the shockwave cannons. Their plasma missiles fired in perfect harmony, striking the cannons before they could recharge. Explosions rocked the Solarian flagship as the shockwave cannons were destroyed. The blast waves tore through the enemy fleet, spreading panic and confusion. Sarvox stumbled as his ship shook violently. "What's happening? Why are we losing?" His lieutenant's voice was trembling. "The humans, they're too strong. Their ships are unstoppable." Sarvox's fury turned to dread as he realized the truth. He had underestimated them. The humans weren't just surviving. They were winning. On the battlefield, the Valkyries moved with ruthless efficiency. They destroyed the Solarian dreadnoughts, leaving nothing but wreckage behind. The once mighty fleet was reduced to scattered debris, their power shattered. Sarvox watched helplessly as his empire's pride and glory were obliterated. The humans fought with a fierceness he had never seen before. They were relentless, merciless. They showed no fear, no hesitation. It was as if they were born for war. On Earth's command ship, Marcus stood tall, his presence radiating confidence. He watched the enemy fall, knowing victory was within reach. "They thought they could break us," Marcus said quietly. "They thought fear would be enough. But they didn't understand what it means to fight for your home." Commander Aiko looked at him, her eyes filled with respect. "We're winning, sir. The Excelarians are retreating." Marcus's face was hard. "No, there's no retreat today. No mercy for invaders." He turned to his communications officer. "Order the Valkyries to pursue. I want every last ship destroyed. Leave nothing behind." The officer saluted. "Yes, General." The Valkyries obeyed, chasing down the fleeing Solarian ships. They moved with precision, targeting engines and weapon systems to ensure no escape. The Excelarians who had come to conquer were now running for their lives. Sarvox watched his empire crumble, his heart filled with disbelief. "This can't be happening. I am Sarvox, conqueror of worlds. I am invincible." But his words were hollow. His power was gone, his fleet destroyed. The humans had shattered his empire. And they were coming for him next. For the first time in his life, Sarvox felt fear. True, paralyzing fear. And he finally understood. The humans were not just fighters. They were survivors. They were warriors born from struggle and hardship. They knew fear better than anyone. And they knew how to conquer it. He had tried to make them fear him. But in the end, it was Sarvox who was afraid. His flagship trembled as the Valkyries approached, their weapons glowing with deadly light. Sarvox's fate was sealed, and he knew it. He had thought he knew fear, until humanity taught him the truth. The battlefield was a graveyard of broken ships and shattered dreams. The once mighty Solarian fleet lay in ruins, scattered across the void like ashes after a fire. Amid the wreckage, the Valkyries moved with deadly purpose, hunting down every last survivor. On Earth's command ship, General Marcus Steele watched the chaos unfold with cold determination. His eyes were sharp, his posture unyielding. There would be no mercy today, not after what the Solarians had done. He turned to Commander Aiko, whose face was set in grim resolve. "Have we located Sarvox?" Aiko nodded. "Yes, General. He's on his flagship, but they've activated a cloaking device. They're trying to escape." Marcus's jaw tightened. He would not let the High Warlord flee after causing so much pain and destruction. Sarvox had to pay for his crimes. "Deploy the Valkyries with the spectral scanners," Marcus ordered. "I want every inch of this battlefield searched. No shadows, no hiding places. Find him." Aiko's eyes gleamed with fierce loyalty. "Yes, sir." She relayed the orders, her voice echoing with authority. The Valkyries responded immediately. Their ships adjusted their sensors, switching to spectral mode. The space around them glowed with strange colors as hidden energy signatures were revealed. There, a ripple in the void, almost invisible, but the Valkyries saw it. They moved as one, surrounding the cloaked flagship, their weapons charged, aimed directly at the disturbance. Inside the flagship, Sarvox watched the Valkyries close in. His hands trembled as he realized they could see him. His advanced cloaking technology, the pride of his empire, was useless. How are they doing this?" he whispered, fear gripping his heart. His tactical officer's face was pale with terror. "They're using spectral scanners. They can see through our cloaking field." Sarvox's mind raced, searching for a way out. But there was none. The humans had anticipated his every move. They had studied his technology, learned his tactics. They were always one step ahead. "Fire the cannons," Sarvox shouted, desperation in his voice. "Destroy them before they can attack." The flagship's weapons roared to life, beams of destructive energy lancing toward the Valkyries. But the humans were faster. They dodged the blasts with ease, moving with supernatural agility. They were toying with him. Sarvox's heart pounded as he realized the truth. They were letting him struggle, letting him fight back, just to show him how powerless he truly was. On Earth's command ship, Marcus watched the scene with cold satisfaction. Sarvox was trapped, surrounded on all sides. There was no escape. "He's panicking," Iko observed. "He knows he's lost." Marcus's voice was ice. "Not yet, but he will." He opened a channel to the Valkyries. "Target his engines. I want him alive." The Valkyries moved in perfect unison. They fired precision shots, striking the flagship's engines with pinpoint accuracy. Explosions erupted, and the mighty vessel shuddered as its power failed. Sarvox stumbled as the floor beneath him shook violently. No, this can't be happening. His eyes were wide with fear, his confidence shattered. His lieutenant was shaking. "High Warlord, our engines are offline. We're dead in space." Sarvox's rage turned to panic. His empire was gone, his fleet destroyed, and now he was a helpless target. A cornered animal facing the hunters. The Valkyries surrounded his crippled ship, their weapons glowing with ominous light. They could destroy him in an instant, but they held their fire, waiting for orders. Sarvox's screen flickered, and the image of General Marcus Steele appeared before him. Cold, unyielding, his eyes burning with righteous fury. Sarvox felt a chill run down his spine. This was the human who had orchestrated his defeat. This was the warrior who had shattered his empire. Marcus's voice was calm, but it carried the weight of judgment. "Sarvox, High Warlord of the Xalarian Empire, you came to our world, seeking conquest and destruction. You thought we were weak. You thought we were afraid." Sarvox tried to speak, but no words came. His mouth was dry, his mind numb with fear. Marcus's gaze was merciless. "You don't understand fear, but you will." With a nod, Marcus gave the order. The Valkyries fired, disabling the flagship's weapons and shields. They boarded the vessel, moving with swift precision. Sarvox's soldiers were overwhelmed in seconds, their resistance crushed. Sarvox stumbled back, his eyes wide as the humans approached. Their armor gleamed with dark metal, their faces hidden behind emotionless visors. They moved like shadows, silent and unstoppable. For the first time in his life, Sarvox felt helpless. He, the conqueror of worlds, was nothing before these beings. One of the Valkyries stepped forward, his voice echoing through the helmet. "High Warlord Sarvox, by order of Earth's Defense Command, you are under arrest for war crimes against humanity." Sarvox's legs gave out, and he collapsed to his knees. His power, his empire, his pride, all gone. He was a prisoner, defeated and humiliated. Marcus's image remained on the screen, his face emotionless. "You wanted to teach us fear, but it's you who will learn." Sarvox felt cold dread wash over him. The humans were not just victorious. They were vengeful. He had thought he knew fear, but this was something far worse. As the Valkyries dragged him away, Sarvox realized that the nightmare was only beginning. The humans would show him no mercy. They would show him the true meaning of fear. Sarvox was dragged through the corridors of his own flagship, his hands bound in energy restraints. The humans moved with precise efficiency, their faces hidden behind cold, expressionless visors. He had never seen soldiers like these, silent, relentless, and utterly fearless. His own warriors had been broken by them, shattered by their skill and ferocity. Sarvox's pride was gone, crushed beneath the weight of his defeat. His empire was in ruins, his fleet destroyed, and now he was a prisoner to the very beings he had thought were weak. They brought him to the command deck, where General Marcus Steele awaited him. Marcus stood tall, his arms crossed, his gaze piercing. There was no triumph in his eyes, only cold judgment. Sarvox tried to summon his dignity, but his voice trembled. You can't do this. I am Sarvox, High Warlord of the Xalarian Empire. My people will. Marcus cut him off, his voice like steel. Your people are defeated. Your empire is dust. There is no one left to save you. Sarvox's eyes widened, the truth sinking in like a blade. He was truly alone. Marcus stepped closer, his expression cold. You came to Earth to conquer, to enslave, to destroy. You thought we were weak, afraid. Sarvox opened his mouth, but no words came out. He had thought exactly that. He had believed humanity would fall easily, that they would surrender to his power. Marcus's gaze hardened. You didn't understand us. You didn't understand our strength, or our fury. He leaned in, his eyes burning with cold fire. You wanted to teach us fear, but you never knew what fear truly was. Sarvox felt his chest tighten. There was something in Marcus's voice, a darkness that chilled him to the bone. Marcus continued, his voice low and unyielding. Humans don't break. When faced with death, we fight harder. When pushed to the edge, we rise. He gestured to the battlefield outside the view screen, littered with the wreckage of the Solarian fleet. You brought this on yourself. You awakened the wrath of humanity. Sarvox's knees trembled. He looked at the ruins of his once mighty armada, shattered and lifeless. How could this be? How could the humans be so powerful? Marcus' expression was cold, his words sharp as blades. You thought you knew fear because you inspired it in others. But fear isn't about power. It's about helplessness. It's about facing an enemy you can't defeat. Sarvox's heart pounded. Helplessness. Yes, that was exactly what he felt now. Surrounded, defeated, with no hope of escape. Marcus's voice grew colder. Now you understand. Now you know what fear truly is. Sarvox's pride shattered completely. He sank to his knees, his body trembling. Please, have mercy. His voice was a broken whisper. Marcus looked down at him, his face emotionless. Mercy. Did you show mercy to the world you conquered? To the people you enslaved? Sarvox's eyes filled with despair. He had never shown mercy. He had been cruel, ruthless. And now, it was his turn to suffer. Marcus's voice was unyielding. You showed no mercy. You will receive none. He turned to his soldiers. Take him away. He will face trial for his crimes against humanity. The soldiers obeyed, dragging Sarvox to his feet. He struggled weakly, his strength gone, his spirit broken. As they led him away, Sarvox's vision blurred. He looked back at Marcus, his eyes filled with fear. True, paralyzing fear. Marcus watched him go, his face impassive. The warlord was defeated, but the war was not over. There would be others who threatened Earth, others who underestimated humanity. But they would learn, just as Sarvox had. They would learn to fear humanity. Marcus turned to the view screen, his gaze fixed on the stars. He spoke softly, his voice carrying a promise. If they come for us, we will show them fear. And in the cold void of space, the echoes of his words seemed to linger, a warning to all who dared challenge Earth. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was not afraid. Humanity was the nightmare that the galaxy would never forget.